I brought some. I'm good. We're live right now. Why were you whispering?
I don't know.
The whole internet's there.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? I am. Tracy Pinder said it's 70 and sunny where she is. It is rainy. It's warm and rainy in New Jersey. What's up, everyone? I'm going to give everybody a second to get in here, and then I'll kick it off. But I'm interested in what have you all been doing to fill time or to do what are you doing with all this time that we have, or don't you have time, or you have stuff that's full? So I'm just wondering what you've been up to. I've been up to a million things. Jamaica, sunny as usual. Oh, I'll bet. Man.
Unicorn. Seriously, Marley started to curb her boredom. She is baking and learning to bake, and
which means I'm just gaining weight.
We are seriously eating because she is baking. It's terrible.
Yeah, she discovered Marley discovered Pinterest, so that's what the world we're living in right now.
So we've got weird.
I don't even know half the stuff. Look, what is this?
Oh, it's to blow a ball. It's like a game.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. This is what failed.
Look, all the glue and the tape together. It's on a bendy straw too. So look, if you wanted to blow it at the guy next to you, you can go like this. No, that wasn't really. Maybe my lungs aren't strong enough. Oh shit! Don't drop that. All right. Anyway, let's jump into this. That was a weird start. So, Jake, before you start the podcast, I just want the guy that told me last week to stop self-promoting in the beginning of my video. This one's for you, my man. Hey, everybody. My name is CJ Reynolds, and Jake's going to start the podcast here. I don't assume that everyone's been here before. What if you're new? And if you're new, I want you to know that this is a safe space to sort of share what's going on in your life, ask questions about education or beyond. And it's not just me answering all these questions. It's all these fantastic people. Look, I mean, you have you got John Lopez in there. You got Maisha's in there. Stephanie Henry's always in there. Tracy Pinter is one of our ride or dies. Unicorns Rock. It's just a whole host of folks in there that are going to engage with you when you ask a question. If you ask a question, please put Q or question in front of it. That way I can it's because there's a lot of talking going on in there because Tracy Pinter is at a social event right now. So it just lets us see that you have a question. And look, if this isn't enough for you, I do private mentoring. There's the Facebook group, Real Rap with Reynolds Teacher Talk on Facebook. You can also buy the book, which is coming out mid-April. Should I say the date? They told me not. I don't know if they said
no, because it fluctuates.
Can I tell them what the date is and then it will fluctuate? I just want to tell people the date. The date's April 17th.
You're so impatient.
Yeah, I am impatient. That's why, and look, so they're shifting all these books around, but mine made the cut of books that are still coming out on time. So April 17th is the day. I think we're not going to do a pre-sale now because if we do a pre-sale, the pre-sale would still start on April 17th. And that means the books wouldn't get shipped till the end of April. I'd rather people just be able to order them and do it. And then we're going to have some kind of giveaway and stuff too. And if you've been on my channel for a minute, I don't do giveaways. I'm not not that dude. I give stuff away sometimes, but I just don't like making people. It's because I feel like it's making people jump through hoops to get stuff. Yeah. It's hey, want something for free? You can just have it. So we're that's what we're trying to figure out. So look, go ahead and put your question in. I'll answer as many questions as I can. Look, this is super laid back. I feel ultra laid back today because I am working in the yard today. I'm working in the garden. So this is Gardening Reynolds outfit. I was going to get all dressed up for everyone. Yeah. And let me ask this question too. If you could just throw it in there. People are saying what they've been doing. John Lopez, spring cleaning. I'm really interested in this.
He also said cleaning out his fountain
cleaning
pens.
up apartment. Recording ukulele videos. Oh, I see you, girl. I see you on Instagram. If you don't follow Unicorns Rock on Instagram, you should go check it out. Hulu workouts, 2 online classes. Awesome. Panda Cheese. You win the life trophy for that name. Can you mention the book title? The book title is Teach Your Class Off, The Real Rap Guide to Teaching. And we're getting these sweet hoodies made and stuff. And we got really great stickers and bookmarks made and stuff.
Yeah, that's if we can continue to get anything made. Like, I don't even know where we were going to get sweatshirts.
Yeah.
If they're still doing
Oh,
it.
we'll make them ourselves. We will buy white sweatshirts and I will write on them.
No. I don't think anybody wants to buy
People will
something
write
like that.
those. I'll get John Lopez to write on them in calligraphy.
That actually
There
might
you
work.
go. What was I going to ask? I had a question for everyone real quick.
Sorry.
Son of a gun. What was it?
I don't know.
Come on, we share one mind.
No, we don't.
Tap in.
Thank the Lord we don't.
Tap into my brain. What do you mean?
I don't want to
Dang,
be in
now that-
that hot mess of a mind.
What was my question? I asked what everyone's been doing. And then, here's my question. I've been going live on Instagram Monday through Friday with different educators. And so I have this whole week is booked out. This week I have like Jeremy Alschmeyer, who just wrote Next Level Teaching. Jen Jones is going to be on tomorrow. Allison Aspie, who's DVC author.
Jonathan Alschmeyer.
Teach, Hustle, Inspire. And I forget the fifth person.
Jonathan Alschmeyer.
No, I already said him. So my question is, if I could reach out and speak to someone, have them come on live on Instagram, who do you think is someone that would be cool? Like, maybe there's like a favorite education person you have? Maybe there's someone low key awesome that I don't know about. Like, if you could put that, I don't know why that's happening so much, but if you could put that in the comment section, I would love to just know like who you think would be a good person for me to talk to on Instagram. I'm just looking for kind of fun people because I think I'm going to keep doing it because it's really fun to do. Questions. Lily F is asking, when you use your green screen with iMovie, how do you get a crisp background? When I've tried this for my videos, but the edges get fuzzy and pixelated, could you post a video explain this? So I shot a video and I'm editing it now about how I do green screen stuff for my students. And it's not a be all end all video because I'm not that tech set. I'm like good enough to do what I do, but I'm not any better than that. So I don't know why that works so well, but there's a couple of things I'm thinking of. One, I just shoot on my iPhone. I have what iPhone do I have? 11? Whatever the newest iPhone is I have,
Yeah.
right? And that is
nice.
really good. I find that if you're well lit, that helps as well. So I have a really cheap green screen. It's essentially a green tablecloth.
Yeah.
It's no more fancy than that. But I'm well lit. So what I would do if I was you, bars, is shoot in front of a window. So right now I don't have my light ring on, but I'm in front of this giant dining room window that we have. And so the light is on my face. That's what I would try to do, because I think that's probably going to help as well. And then on iMovie, on my computer, I don't know that I can do this on my phone. There's an option on there, like when you go green screen, I'll put this in the video. Make a mental note, put this in the video. There's pens and stuff right there. You can erase, like if you get fuzzed out stuff or crazy stuff in the background, you just take this little eraser and touch those spaces and it goes away. So that's been helping also. And also my green screen has to be really flat. If there's wrinkles in it, it picks up on those discrepancies and then it just doesn't look as good too. So the other day I tried to get away with a wrinkly green screen and then it didn't look as nice.
I don't think anybody actually noticed.
I don't think anyone noticed because I was wearing a cowboy hat and playing a cigar guitar.
Yeah,
So just saying.
you took the attention there.
Yeah. Heather McClure. She's Irish, I think. Maybe, I don't really know. Heather is asking, anyone have a poetry lesson to share out? High school sped. Thanks. Much love to all. So here, I'm going to give you the where you have to go for poetry. On Amazon, there is, if you go into my Amazon store, which is under any of my videos except for the lives, because I don't always get to like posting all the stuff under the lives, but any of my regular videos, there's an Amazon store. And I'm going to get 2 cents from this. So I appreciate that. Just, so I'm trying to make money here. But there are 2 books called Learn, Then Burn. And it's by my friend Derek Brown, who owns a company called Write Bloody Poetry. And it is really great. It's like poetry for kids that don't like poetry. So it'll give you like the poem, it will give you the lesson breakdown, and then it gives you like whatever kind of worksheet or handout goes along with it. And it's really, really good. Like So good that for my poetry class, I'm going to order it this week again because mine are at the school. And I'm going to just use them for the rest of the year for my poetry class. There's so much stuff in there. And I think they actually came out with a second version too. So you can either get it on Amazon or you can go to writebloodypoetry.com, and it's awesome. And if you're just looking for good poems, go to Write Bloody Poetry on YouTube, and there's tons and tons of good stuff. So some of it isn't like, might be inappropriate for your students depending on like the age and type of student that you teach. But so check it before you check yourself, before you wreck yourself. But all the stuff in the workbooks is clean. Like they only use like really great stuff in there that is applicable for all students. And it's so awesome. Little Space Freckles is saying, I don't know why I say people's names the way that I do. Anyway, let's keep going on. I'm planning my first 8th grade English lesson for next week on social issues and social justice. Anyone have any ideas for fun, engaging stuff? I think it's not just the lesson. It's what you do to the lesson that's going to make it fun. So I've been using New York Times like crazy. I've been using Scholastic Magazine, has their stuff is for free now. And they deal with social issues on there all the time. And they give you, so does New York Times. They give you like, here's the video, here's the reading selection, here's the questions, here's the activity. So it's all there for you. And then the way I've been trying to sprinkle magic on that is just by making the videos for my students. So that's my choice of how I'm choosing to do that. I have other friends that are, my friend Ed is he's reading stories to the students and creating an audio file because he's dealing with students that need that resource. You could do that, and you could play, like you could put that in GarageBand or an iMovie and put like sound effects underneath of it. You could do all kinds of fun, crazy stuff. And so my friend Becky has also been doing a really good job at this too, but I don't know how the hell to spell Becky's name or how to even say it. If you go into,
I'm gonna add
okay, because her last name is like Schnedakeldak or something.
Schneekster or something.
Schnookerduker, something like that, something crazy.
Oh shoot.
So, but that's what I'm thinking of. Did you lose the question? You know what's going to happen next.
8th grade one. No, but poor Charlene Martini says that she's feeling like a nutcase today. She said she needs us.
Yeah, look, I mean, I this time, it's like, what do you do with yourself? It's so much time because I am happy to work all the time.
I think we go either way. We could go full like, not lost our will to live, but like just watching TV, eating food, and kind of completely like vegging out. That kind of like rest can feel restful also, but that only takes you so long when you're in this amount of time for a lockdown. It's like,
no, when your ass starts hurting because you've been on the couch for too long, it's like, bro,
or you're disinterested.
Your body is telling you to get up.
When you're disinterested in like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or like anything on YouTube.
Well, especially because it's all the worst stuff, man. I have to I created a new account. I don't know if I told you this. I created a new Instagram account where I'm only following people that are like my favorite people that are like sort of uplifting or into like inspiring. And it's only a handful of folks. And no one knows that it's me because I made up an account. And so I just follow like cool people, and it's just more fun that way. The other thing I'm thinking of is like, we've had to have a routine in all of this. Like I have to have a routine, like where I don't make myself get up in the morning, but I just wake up whenever I wake up, come downstairs, same morning routine as always, like having coffee, praying, reading, hanging out with my wife. And then yesterday, I didn't get up off the couch till 11 o'clock. I watched gardening videos and found out how to like move some of the stuff in my room. How do I divide certain plants? How do I, what do I do with seeds that I'm growing? Because I'm growing all these seeds this year because I don't have anything else to do. Like I'm just looking up things that are interesting to me, and then I spend the rest of the day doing that. But yeah, TV gets real boring, and we're watching some really great shows right now.
She said she's being bombarded with like PDs and this app and that app and a website.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Going out of my mind.
I haven't been doing it. Like I just don't do
literally
all of it.
The first week you were that way. I don't even think all schools were closed down yet.
I do, and it starts making you crazy, right? When like all like and I told them this. So like if anyone happens to be watching this, I'm not dissing, but the freshman grade level, the great freshman team on my school just has a ongoing thread, a text thread that just keeps going and going. And I'll look at my phone, I have 160 text messages. And I'm like, guys, I just can't follow along with this. Like, I have children, I have a dog, I have other things to do. Like, I just can't keep up on that. But it's for the same reason I don't watch like the news all day. I don't read the news all day. I don't stay on social media all day because it's just what doesn't put my head in a good place. So for me, it's finding other stuff to do. Amy is asking, we are in total lockdown in South Africa with Corona. We've never needed to do much e-learning, but we are now necessitated to. I send the kids content, but not sure how do I do assessments? Any advice? So I think here's the interesting part in all of this, and I'd be really interested if anyone has an answer to this. We don't do e-learning in the 9th grade at my school. So I teach 9th grade primarily, and we don't do it because our students are not one-to-one. All of a sudden they are one-to-one, but half the kids can't figure out how to use Google Classroom. I assign stuff. They don't know how to open it. They're asking me for permission instead of using the copy that I made from. It's like trying to figure all this madness out, right? Even that being said, it's like, what do you do when it does come time for an assessment? Is it just essay based? It can't be multiple choice because they're going to look up the answers somewhere. Like, is it a project? Like, how do I create a project unless it's completely online? Because I don't know who has what sort of resources, and is there enough like paid, like free stuff out there that my students can use? So I've used sites like TuneDo before. Storybird will give you a limited amount of stuff for free on there. There are some sites, but it's trying to figure out like, how am I actually assessing students and what they're doing? So right now I'm just not planning on any sort of assessment because it's like, what's the use of coming up with that if kids can just somehow cheat? And I haven't figured out a way around that yet. So if anyone wants to answer that, I would love to know what you're going to do, like, or how you're doing it. That would be awesome. I'm going to go to the next question because it's right on there. Mm-hmm. I'm ready. And keep typing. Question. How do you have a personal connection in online format, either creating personal connection or maintaining a personal connection? This is from Abby. Abby, I have started to do two things. One, I have office hours that are online. All my students know that I'm on Zoom at 10 to 11 every single day. So they can check in. And the kids I've had check in so far, we're not talking about school stuff. We're just talking about stuff. And like, how are you feeling about all this? What have you been doing with yourself? Like, what TV shows have you been watching? What could you do with your time if you're really bored? And it's been just trying to talk about regular stuff. And then I started doing lunchtime starting last Friday, where I just put an invite out to probably 10 dudes, and they all meet up on Google Classroom or on Google Hangouts, and we just hang out. And again, it's not school stuff. It's just checking in with guys, but it's all my homies that have been eating lunch with me for the last 4 years. They've been in high school. They're all seniors. One of them is a junior, but they're all guys that like, I need to know how they are, because it wasn't like the end of the school year where you just leave and you know when you're coming back, or you got to say goodbye. It was like, we left one day and then the next day we were told not to come back to the school. And it was like, bam, instantly I lose contact with all those individuals. Or I hit them up on DMs, or some guys, if I have their phone number, or if I can dig up their phone number, I just text them and say like, hey man, just checking in on you and your family, see how you're doing, how you're feeling. And that has been good, because there's kids that are like freaking out over this, that are like, just watch the news all the time, or their parents lost their job, or they're not sure what to make of all this, or they can't, like, school is really difficult now because they don't have like the time and space and quiet to do the work. And so trying to figure that out has been really invaluable. So that's one way that I've been working with students, is trying to figure out platforms online to meet with them in a way that's not just class. It's just meeting up to meet up.
I just want to say, Deanna Owens and Tracy said that you can do multiple choice quiz assignments in Google Forms, but you can, when you set the assignment, you can put it in lock mode, and it locks the screen, so they're not allowed to toggle into other windows. So they can't really cheat. or look it up.
Well,
I guess
unless they
they
use
have
their
a phone.
phone, right? But it's like, and so I get it. Yeah. It's worth trying. Like, I think we did that for an assignment instead of giving them like having them write down their answers. For a reading assignment, it was like, no, just it's like multiple choice.
Someone else said she also just gives everything as kind of like open book. And it's like,
yeah. And that might be the move also, is like, how are we figuring this out? Like, to do that. There was already a question on that.
oh, sorry.
Amy is asking, we have started teaching online. My kids have very little technology. At best, some have cell phones. The district that I work for does not provide technology to students. What do I do? Amy, so look,
Complain to your district.
I would either raise hell in your district, or if it's just never going to happen, I don't know, like if you live in some special circumstance where you're never going to be able to get computers or get computers in time for your students, I think it's about encouraging students to just think about, like, to read every day, to write every day for just a few minutes. You could read for 20, 15 minutes a day. And then one of the ideas I gave someone the other day was like, why not have the whole family read at the same time? Like, push this effort that like every night after dinner, we all sit down, we grab a book, and for 20 minutes we read, and then we just talk about it. So what that's doing is taking the pressure off parents who now all of a sudden have to become teachers, and you're making it real low stakes because you're making it so that they just have to talk to one another about, like, what are you reading about? What's the main character doing? What's the conflict? Is it making you think of anything else? So you are annotating what you're reading, but you're just doing it out loud with someone else. And I think that that's good enough. Maybe have your kids journal every day. Maybe they write letters to someone. Maybe they look something up. Maybe you're underlining. No, dog, I'm not going to play with you right now. Just can't you see I'm online? You could just figure out like little ways like that. Like, I'm trying to do things at my house where it's like, with my daughter baking as much as she's been baking, and like my wife is talking to her about like, what is a cup? What is a tablespoon versus a teaspoon? About doing the math, about figuring, like, problem solving in certain particular things that she's like making these, what'd she make yesterday? It's like cupcakes, but it was just pancake batter,
pancake muffin,
but with all different stuff in it. So like whether it's blueberry guts, sprinkles, chocolate chips, and like having the problem solve, how do you do some of that stuff? Working in the garden together, talking about birds, going to the woods, like everything is getting turned into a lesson. So my children as students are just learning by living. And I think if we promote that for students, that's a really great way to be able to do that with kids. Because otherwise it's like if we can't get them computers, it's like learning doesn't have to stop there. We're just reading and writing and observing and critically thinking and growing like that. Like, what's something you've always wanted to do? Like my friend Tal Thompson has a maker space. We have one created in the kitchen, which looks like a hot disaster right now. But we just got out all the stuff in our house that we could think of, like all the foam core board and poster board and all that crap.
Caps,
yeah.
Corks,
and it's like,
all kinds of weird
make
stuff.
something. And then they did. They just start, like, my daughter just starts making weird things that I'm not sure how to use them, like this. This is like, I don't know.
Yeah, she has something else she was working on earlier. I don't know. She must have took it with her.
She made a bird feeder.
Bird feeder, yeah.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, question. Shirley Martini, my buddy, is asking, are you doing individual classes via Zoom or another face-to-face app? How are you planning your time with them? I'm about to go nuts about to put together an actual plan. So I'm not. I don't think it's beneficial, especially with older students. With younger kids, maybe. I think it is really going to be like me trying to herd kittens in a way that I cannot do like I normally do, right? So what I think is far more beneficial for teachers is put out a video. If you were going to do that, just instead record yourself on your phone or whatever, like on your computer, and then push that to Google or put it up on YouTube And then my students can watch that. Then they show up for office hours. So that's when they're asking questions, because I just don't see the benefit of trying to get 30 kids on a call all together and we're doing something together. Like, it's like there's too many issues with that in terms of, what if I have a house of kids that I'm working with right now that there's one computer and 5 kids. So like, how do we structure the day so that everyone has equal time on the computer? Like I don't know how, like, if they can get on the computer at 1 o'clock every day when I'm on there. So it's just too much stuff to figure out. And I get that we are, people keep talking about how we are building the plane while we're flying it, which makes me feel a little bit like that movie Radio Flyer, but we're trying to figure it out as we go. And I just don't think that what we're trying to do there is recreate the brick and mortar school online, and it doesn't work. I think trim the fat, make it what you can make it. That was Adam Welcome said that the other day. We need to trim the fat, and then take it from there. Like, how are we figuring this out going forward? What you got?
I don't know if that's a question to you or someone else, or to.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
I think that was already another conversation. I'm going to drink some water while you're looking at that.
Okay, got one.
Well, good, because I'm done drinking water now. Perfect. Kim Morrissey is asking, how many hours do you think elementary kids should be working for each day? Man, that's a great question. I think it depends on what they're working on. I just don't, like, when we homeschool, it is never for a set amount of time. It's not a set number of days in a row. It's like the lesson takes what the lesson takes. So like, but I just don't.
I forget where I read it or something, like another teacher or something said, like, it's a lot less. Like, oh, it was an article. Like, this is not homeschool. Like, what schools are now doing online is not what homeschool is. Homeschool is completely different. This is online learning is what you're trying to do. So I think, don't forget to, like, they're very different things. Don't confuse those. So it's like, how much online learning should these little kids be doing? I don't think very much, like, honestly, like, but I think things like encouraging and teaching parents how to turn everyday things into lessons is probably, that's more homeschooling, and that's what parents can do. And I think if you want more learning for your kids, it's kind of teaching parents how to do that. Yeah. Because it doesn't come natural to a lot of parents. Like, it's not something that's natural for me. It stretches me beyond belief to, like, homeschool my kids. It's very difficult for me.
So, but if I'm thinking about that question, it's like, I'd say if you're reading for 20 minutes a day, 15 or 20 minutes a day, depending on your age and your ability to pay attention. So I have students at school that I only have read 12 minutes a day.
Little kids love, they're talking about elementary kids love to be read to. Like, I think they could be read to much more than that throughout the day. Our kids will sit there for 30, 40 minutes and be read to. So if you're doing that and then you write something, or you are, where's that comic book? Is that still on here? So we've been doing this thing where we got like a book that makes a comic book, and you could also do this on something like Toon. Our kids are listening to a podcast called 6 Minutes. So they listen to the podcast, and then the job after that is to turn that podcast into, so there's no visual for it. So you're turning it into a comic book. So create a picture that goes along with the story. And that's been really great. We've had them making gotcha videos, which my kids are really into. And so if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. But it's creating isolated animation cells, and then they upload them to the computer. They put music over it. They do voiceovers on it. And that is, and they have speech bubbles. So they're like, they're practicing writing and storytelling, like all those sorts of things. So I think if it was an hour or two a day, that's just like enough. I don't think it needs to be more than that. 2 different people said that it's 4 hours a day they're requiring for their elementary students.
That's just crazy.
I just think that's too much. You don't even do 4 hours of homeschool a day, because it goes so fast.
You don't do 4 hours of work in any class a day.
Well, I just think because when you're home, the learning is different, right? It's not sit down like I do have some programs that my kids like sit down and use. Like we do a lot of Nessie and stuff like that for my son's dyslexia, but they're not going to sit down and do 4 hours of that type of work. Like it's just ridiculous.
Not individual work. So in
No.
school, it's like working in small groups. It's like doing stuff like that as
I think
well.
it's overestimated.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah. I think what we're doing is we're pushing fake rigor and trying to get people to do,
Yeah. Patty said 4 hours is crazy on top of the emotional state that they are in right now. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I would, if I was a teacher, I just wouldn't listen to my admin. I would say, nope.
No, I would push back or have a real talk with your admin and say what's my hair's doing this thing. Look, it's all coming out. Like, I mean, come on, what's happening right now?
Please stop.
I'm trying to stop it, but it's not listening to me. Jub is asking, I am in college now and do not have any advice. Now, do you have any advice on things I could be learning or working on while I'm wasting my time in prerequisites? Anything other than your normal advice of subbing or tutoring? So I would really look into how are you online teaching? Because I don't know how long all this lasts, but like, what would it look like if this ever happened again? What would it look like if you had to turn to online learning? I would really put some time and effort into thinking about that. Other than that, I think geez, what else would I say? What would I do ahead of time? I don't know. I get this question so much. I'm trying to think of some a way that I don't normally.
Well, this is different because you can't go to sub or tutor because of the position that we're in. I think she's asking what can you do different?
I'll tell you, one of the things that I really love, and I think I would
learn more about technology.
I think that's one, right? Like, I think everything's cross-training. And so my hero, David Lee Roth, says that everything is cross-training. So it's not just doing the thing. So let me break it down like this. Let's take it this whole different route. There's a song called Running with the Devil, right? Which I don't love the title of because it kind of bothers me. But anyway, Running with the Devil is a song by Van Halen. They wrote it in 8 minutes. When asked about this, David Lee Roth, did you guys really write this song in 8 minutes? David Lee Roth says, yes, but you wrote it in 8 minutes after you'd watched thousands of movies, listened to thousands of songs, had all these adventures, had your heart broken 17 times, been in fights on the street, all the things you've done make you into the people that you are. So what other things would create a teacher that are not subbing or tutoring someone or just learning in prerequisites? I think it's everything. Everything you do turns into the person that you become. So when I learned I know how to make balloon animals. I know how to build stuff. I know how to, I don't know, I love music. It really means a lot to me. I can play drums. I can do all this stuff, but it's how has that becomes a part of my classroom? So I would start thinking about what are you good at? What could you get good at? What are you interested in? And start working through some of those things and then figuring out how they're going to work in your classroom. So Ron Proctor with his cigar box guitar, takes it in the class. I know a teacher that learned violin and compared things in class to it. Teachers that have been engineers before have brought that information in. People that love animals, people that are into science, into gardening, you're bringing all that into your classroom and you're teaching through the lens of those things to your students. And that makes your teaching better. So I would just start thinking about how can you take your love of urban gardening, of playing the flute, of, I don't know, whatever you're into, home improvement stuff, how can you turn that into a lesson, or how can you engage students with that have that be your hook, and then teach them the lesson that you're hooking them into. What you got there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell more stories.
I don't care.
That wasn't really good. I don't know where I was going with that. I know people talk so much. It's really great.
I mean, yeah, I love it.
They're answering their own questions. That's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's handling it. And Aisha has it under control. I just need to stay on here.
Aisha asked if you could do a video between distance learning and homeschooling.
Sure.
Maybe.
And how I think some of those can overlap. I think distance learning, I think mainly homeschooling is really calling on parents to do stuff with their kids. Distance learning
it's hard because everybody's homeschooling model is so different. Like you have people who are super type A and like really, really need structured and organized.
Talking a lot today. I mean, I really just think you should be on. You look really pretty today.
No.
Just saying.
And now I lost my train of thought. I was going to say a lot of like home teachers, like
the people that we know
are really structured. Where like I fit better with an unschooling method. Like that's just.
I'll tell you what my favorite homeschooling thing is Captain Fantastic, that movie.
Yes.
When they're like living in the woods, homeschooling.
That's like more.
That's like, the best.
Here you go.
That'll make you feel bad about your homeschooling. So Maisha is asking, CJ, would you be willing to make a video showing the different? Did you just answer that?
Oh, jeez.
So I think, that would be fine. I'm trying to put out a lot of movies or a lot of videos, but I keep getting caught up doing school stuff for like 9 hours because just the grading for online stuff is such a pain in the butt because it's like having to look through stuff and figure things out.
Nobody's in school, so nobody has any questions.
No, here we go. You're just not all of them have a question in front of it. I'm starting teaching in August. I have a big reading list to tackle before then, and I'm hoping to make some of the materials before I start. But what should I be doing with school in the meantime?
Then there's a second one.
As in office politics wise, it's hard because I can't really be at the school. One of my mentor teachers will only one mentor teacher will meet with me and show me the room, etc. Good news is it's my old high school. So I would say this, Mr. Prometheus or Miss Prometheus, what would I do in the meantime? I would reach out to folks. I would reach out to other teachers and just write them an email and say like, this is who I am. This is what I'm excited to be on board and start teaching at the school. And I wouldn't go through if the reading list you're talking about is all the stuff you have to read for the year. I just wouldn't go through. I just wouldn't read all of it. I would plan, I would read a book or read, whatever it is that is part of your reading list, and then plan for that and take it in chunks. Because if you try to plan for everything, you don't know what's going to work yet. You don't know what kind of kids you have yet. You don't know what your learning situation or your class sizes or whatever is going to look like yet. So it really takes getting to know your students, which is why I think that a lot of online programs don't work, or haven't worked in my class, or I just am not a huge believer in them because they teach to some sort of mysterious child that doesn't really exist. I don't know who those things are based on all the time, but it's you need to know your students and how they learn before you can actually teach content to them. So the bones of algebra is algebra, but based on the students that you have, how is it going to change going forward is kind of what you're looking at.
I like this. I thought
okay.
That's great.
Freckles is saying, I've been trying to plan my lessons around Netflix shows my kids are binging, and I've been watching all my block with them. And we've been analyzing articles on the show and having debates via Zoom. I think that's an awesome idea. My students love that show. And so I think that's a great one to do that with. We watch a lot of shows during the year. Well, I'll show one episode from it, but Friday Night Lights is a big one for my students. The 100 on WB is a big one. Shooter, which is about, it's based on the Mark Wahlberg
What's some new one
movie
that everybody's watching that you could have your class watch together, and then you could come back and do conversations.
Oh, that's a great idea, dude.
We could all binge it at the same time.
Yeah. That's an awesome idea.
Cheek eggs. Okay, next.
I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that. That was John Lopez question right there. I can't just answer it right away. I got to think about it. Where is it? Oh, here we are. Are there any books about teaching or ELA that you would recommend? So Logan, notoriously.
Teach your class off? but that's not available till mid-April.
I would say Teach Your Class Off is my number one choice. That comes out mid-April by yours truly. I would say, look, I know I always go back to this, but I just don't know that many books that I like that are education books. I think Colby Sharp's book that we talked about last week is a great one. I think, Tattoos on the Heart. Like, I think relational stuff is more important or more interesting to me. I have to say the two best educational books I've ever read are There Are No Shortcuts by Rafe Esquith and Teach Like a Pirate by Dave Burgess. And so I didn't ever read Burgess's book. And I've talked about this a bit lately, but like I never read it. The guy he's my publisher. He owns the company that I'm being published through. And so I thought, like, since he published my book, I should probably read his so I have some sense of who this guy is. And then, but even I had that idea, and it wasn't until I went and saw him speak that I was so utterly blown away by his talk in a way that I am blown away by no one's talk like that. It was so good. I had to read the book, and so then I read it and I couldn't believe how good it was. And so that's what I would look at as like one of those two books. And then for extra credit, I would just read anything by Father Gregory Boyle. Doesn't matter if you are interested in religion or not. Like, he just is the kind of guy that just never gives up on anybody. And that to me is like, that is the toughest thing in teaching.
Hamish Brewer is one of those people too.
Hamish
Brewer. He has a hefty book, and we haven't sat down to read that one.
No. But that's a good one. Yeah. So Hamish Brewer.
He is the same.
But you know why? Because
vibe of guy.
Him and Dave, they're the kind of folks that are in it. They're really doing it. It really matters to them, and they really care.
Adam, welcome.
And so but what I'm getting at though is sometimes you get books on education by someone who in theory they love a lot, sell their program or something like that. It's dude, you don't even teach, man. You taught for a year and then you wrote a book. What's up?
Just asking if she can have some of her mini pancake muffins.
Oh, your pancake muffins that you made?
But I think for a TikTok.
Oh.
I don't know what's happening.
Marley's been doing a lot of TikTok also. That was one of yours. Kim Morrissey is asking, any ideas on helping students learn cursive while they're at home? We were just about to start it before they started. First of all, Kim, let me just say that John Lopez and I are thrilled that you're teaching your kids cursive. My students can't even read my cursive. And although I have made up my own brand of cursive, I love cursive. It's how can you ever write a thank you note to someone in not cursive? It's it's not as thank you-y, I don't think. I would say...
Stop. I hate writing in cursive, which is really funny.
Really?
I enjoy print.
You write really fast too. So fast. Oh yeah. I'm like this. Do, 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 do. I don't even know what theme song that was. I think that was that Franklin the Turtles song. That was so weird. I would say there's got to be something online. I know that there's online learning communities where folks are just Skillshare, that kind of a thing. And you can see people. And I only know that because somebody we knew was learning calligraphy online and shared a site with me. And it was really cool. So
it was a YouTuber that did it, how to do fancy handwriting.
Yeah, I would look it up on YouTube. That's what I would do. Or see if there's a website for a Skillshare kind of a thing. And I would just look for really engaging videos on how to do it.
But this for little kids, you think that exists for little kids?
There's got to be. There's a YouTube channel for everything, man.
I know.
I mean, I looked up. There's a YouTube channel I watched the other day that was just for how to make leaf mold. Bro, get after it. You ready? Oh, my bad. I didn't know you were so ready. Piano Boy, what's up, buddy? Is asking.
That's not really a question. Sorry.
Okay, great news. I got my first teaching job. Fantastic. I will be teaching junior high and high school social studies history at a small school 15 minutes away in Illinois. I think that's where Ill is.
Is that for next year?
Yeah. Is that for next year? Are you doing it, or is that for this year? That's awesome. What a crazy time to start teaching in this, like, and to the other question too, like someone else's point to that. It was the Doug theme song. It's just like, that is what I just think it will make such a great story. So in my head, I always think about things in terms of like, what kind of story will this make? And like, whether that's dealing stuff with my students, with my, as a couple, with my friends, with my kids, I'm like, no, we got to do this because it makes such a great story. So I just think that what a great story to figure that out. So congratulations. If there's ever anything I can do, just reach out, man, and let me know. And I'm down. You have another one?
Nope.
I did the Audible of Teach Like a Pirate. Awesome. As he reads. Oh, I didn't know he even had an Audible of Teach Like a Pirate. That's awesome.
I'm looking for is Relentless in an Audible.
Stephanie Ray said cursive is evil.
Ours are
private
evil
videos.
cursive.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Oh, I have a question. Sorry. Here you
Go for it. Cool. Jay is asking, hi from India. Hey, what's up, man? It's I would love to go to India. And
Me too.
From India, and new sessions of school are not started yet, but how do I engage with students during lockdown? What to prepare? Accountancy students. So I am really of the belief, and if you watch my content for 5 minutes, you realize that like relationships are huge for me. Now, look, why are relationships such a big deal? Because it's strategic. Also, it's not just like some kind of like we should all care about kids thing. It just makes sense. When people care, other people care. So when I care about my students, they listen to me. When I care about my students out loud and often, they don't break my stuff. They do their work. They don't lie to me. They don't cheat in my class. They don't start fights in my class. They don't come at me. They don't say rude things to me. I don't deal with classroom management issues on a level which a lot of other people do, because I know my students. So if I think about anyone I deal with, so let me break it down like this. If you're driving in your car, they say the reason that people that are just driving along, look, I'm making a whole illustration out of it. If you're driving in your car and you snap on someone because they cut you off, because they honked their horn, because they're not going through the red light, even though it freaking turned green, what are you still sitting there for? Or you do that thing where someone cuts you off on the highway and you pull up next to them, and then you got to give them the look, right? Where we all always have to look at them to see what the hell they were doing, as if we're going to figure it out. We do that because on a scale from 1 to 10, we're already on 7 just by driving your car. I think teaching's a little bit like that, right? You're already on some number. You're not like starting at 0 and then going to 10 out of nowhere. You are already sort of like anticipating. You're already dealing with, what is that thing called? Decision fatigue. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Where you answer like some absurd number of questions every single day. You're always kind of looking to make sure everyone's learning and make sure they're sitting in their seats and all that stuff. When we do that in our cars, have you ever beeped at someone, yelled at someone, cursed someone out, and then you saw that it was someone you knew and you immediately felt like an idiot? So I've done this on my way to school several times, and then someone
I
pulls
feel
in.
like that when we're late for church and we're like,
dude, that's why I don't do it on the way to church, because that
and
day,
then that person goes exactly.
do you remember that happened?
And I'm like, oh shit.
Someone did that, and I was like, they got behind us, and then we both turned into the church parking lot. I was like, oh, brother. Now we need to repent. So that is so. But when we know someone, we have a reason now for, like, we learn the reason they might be acting like that. They know the reason we might be acting like the way we're acting out, because we know who they are. We took the time to get to know them. So it's really just a logistical move on why you should build relationships with someone. And it's not just because I like relationships. It's not just because it's a good idea or it's cute or you want kids to come to your retirement party in 30 years. It's also because it just makes sense, because people will treat you better when they know who you are. Candace, COVID could still very likely be around in the fall. There's 2 parts. Okay. It feels as though many administrators and educators are only thinking about the short term, rest of spring and maybe into the summer. What should we be thinking about ahead of time for the fall? Candace, that's a great question. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think that really needs to come from teachers. And if we are thinking about it now and entering in the conversations with the administration now, it's just going to better our students. I think that nobody really has a sense of what's going on right now. Like Philly's still planning on sending us back to school in the middle of April, and we all know that's not happening. Like it's just
because New York and Jersey are insane.
New Jersey, we're the number 2 state right now, and they're saying that it's going to keep exploding in pockets around the country.
Just and so north to south.
Yeah, and with that, I think, all right, so how do we still grow in this time? Someone called it the other day. Who was I listening to? It was Ryan. Oh, damn it, I forget his name. No, but they were talking about how the Stoics referred to this as a live time or die time. And so when you dealt with the pandemic back in the day, it was like, are you in your home on lockdown and growing? You're living, you're becoming better, you're getting better at other stuff, you're growing as a human being, or are you shrinking? And so if you're shrinking, you're just sort of mindlessly doing whatever it is that you do during the day, watching TV, going on social, whatever, with no sense of like adding to it or becoming better or growing or learning through it. You're just kind of it's like Candy Crush, which I will admit I started playing again the other night. And
this is CJ's new
I have been crushing
guilty
candy.
Pleasure. Secretly until Brody appears over
Brody
your
yells
shoulder.
at me when we're watching in Lego Master Builders, and he's like, "What are you doing? Pay attention!" So I think that has to be something teachers come up with, and so I'm really interested in what people have to say about that. You can leave it in the comments, or that's a great question to post in the Facebook group, Real Rap with Reynolds Teacher Talk, because it's a closed group, because it's only educators, and what is this going to look like going forward? Because I think we're going to come up with some. The potential for schools to come up with some whack ass program or some, stupid idea is real. So how do educators kind of get in front of that? And I think that's by us trying a bunch of stuff now, seeing what works, seeing how kids are growing, how kids are learning, and then taking that to the next level. Abby is asking, on the job note, tips for getting a job. I think right now is I think, look, let me throw this one out there. Everything in life seems to be about who you know, right? Got like so many, it's what do they say? Like when opportunity meets preparation, when preparation meets opportunity equals, I don't know, something cool, Magic. Right? Yeah. If you are preparing yourself to become an educator, if you're preparing your lessons, if you have, I think a Pinterest account is one of those things that every single teacher should have. You're going through and pinning ideas, not just things that look like a lesson, but things that are like, oh, I could turn this go-kart making activity into this lesson on physics, something along those lines. So when you're constantly in the mode, you're reading, you're getting ready for it. And then I think becoming a part of a community is the next piece. So whether that's the Facebook group, whether that's meeting people on Twitter, whether that's online conferences, like what's Matera's, John, the Hive.
Oh, Hive Summit.
Hive Summit's coming up. So like doing stuff like that, becoming a part, meeting up on here, meeting actual people. Like I often think, what would it be like if I needed a job now? Because I know so many educators online that if my school shut down, if something like, it got to be the worst and I couldn't be there anymore, like what would it be like if I needed a job now? Could I just put it out online? Would I be able to get job opportunities from people like because I know them? And so, yeah, that's something I think about. So I think it's about becoming an active part of a community where you are helping people out, you're offering suggestions, you are becoming one of the team. And then if someone's looking for a job, maybe they put it online. Maybe you know that person. Maybe you have the connect somewhere. And so I think that that's really how it works. But that's been so much. That's been speaking engagements in our life. That's getting the book. It's been building the business. It's
relationships again.
Yeah, it's always relationships. Because they're good strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Da Vinci is asking, will your book be published in Audible? We are working.
It depends. That's the answer.
Let me say this. There will be an audio version of my book. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. It's based on sales. So the publisher will do it, but it's a $6,000 to $7,000 investment as long as your sales are there. If your sales aren't there, then they don't make, if you're selling 2 books a month, then you're not going to make it. I don't think we're going to be in that situation, but because I have viewers, like folks that engage with my content online that are visually impaired, I want to make an audio for them. So if that means that I have to get my microphone and sit here on my computer and read the whole thing and put it out myself, that I'll just send to people like privately, then I'll do it. Like I'll figure out a way to do that. But and that might sound like, hilarious, me just sitting there reading, but that's what I'm thinking of. So it will be available at some point. And I just love audiobooks too. Like I read way more audiobooks or listen to more audiobooks than I actually read books. Freckles is asking Scribd. Oh, it's saying Scribd. I have used Scribd, which is like Audible. It has an entire library of audiobooks, which includes Teach Like a Pirate. Oh, for free for the next 30 days. So people will have something to do with their quarantine time. That is awesome.
I'm going to go look it up and download a bunch of
stuff. Yeah, dude, for sure. Write that down. I forgot about them. That's like one of those sites I knew like back in the day. Will allow me. Ta-da.
Thank you.
Got you, girl.
Here you go.
Got you. Logan is asking, can Mr. Reynolds' secret wife lead a teacher talk one Sunday? I think it'd be awesome to hear her perspective. Yes.
No.
Why not?
I don't want to lead anything.
You should just be on with me. I always think you should be on with me.
Maybe.
It should just be us.
Maybe. I'm not a teacher. That's why.
Yeah, but you know all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You could have answered any question.
No,
Find another question. I bet you say the same thing that I would have said. What's the question? I'm going to ask you.
No,
Ready?
No. This one.
Anthony's asking, okay, going to ask my first question ever. Anthony, way to take a step, man.
No, I think it's a 3-part question.
He like waited. He was like, look, if I'm asking a question, it's going to be the super big 3-parter. The school world has been crazy as of last Friday. I'm at a small STEM charter school in California.
Sorry.
In California. We closed and my principal is super worried about losing it.
Keep scrolling. Does it keep...
Part 2. Principal is going into lockdown. She is wanting us to meet daily and have daily meetings with every IEP and send over lesson plans to for the staff to post it.
Wait, daily IEP meetings with every...
I guess. Hold on. The math teacher also quit, and I am doing science and math in these meetings. Not sure that my principal is going off the rails or if I am overreacting, maybe. The English teacher broke down in the meeting. Is that the last one? No. Oh, and then, okay. So then Anthony's just like talking to other people. So, gosh, I think, so they're worried that your school's going to shut down. I don't understand why the school would shut down if it still has students going there. And so look, I maybe the principal's idea here is to go above and beyond to really prove that they can do it. Here's the problem with that is that I think when we are asking teachers for too much, we're going to burn teachers out. Teachers are already burnt out anyway. Teachers are already struggling in the classroom with the way they normally do things, with the routines that they already have, with the students and the relationships that they've already built. Then to take it into this new level and go, now we need this much work from you. You were already stretched. It's sort of like Seth Godin has this thing where he did a TED talk and he asks the whole audience to raise their hand as high as they can. Raise your hand as high as you can. Everyone, raise your hand as high as you can. And then he says, now raise it a little bit higher. And the whole audience gets it a little bit higher up there. That's work, that's school, that's how we deal with our students in a nutshell. That is why students don't do their absolute best, because they know we're going to ask them to do a little bit more. So why not play it safe, kick it with a C, and then in the last moment when you got to do a little bit more, you can squeak out a B or maybe a low A. That's why kids don't do their absolute best. And I think that teachers are going to end up being the same way. They're going to get broken. And so I think that is when my friend Adam was talking about trimming the fat the other day. I think what that means is we have to rethink the way that we're doing school. How do we get kids that are now at home and us online to actually learn? What do we want them to learn? How do we get them from here to here? That's it. By any means necessary, we should be thinking about that. And in this time, we are forced to be so creative. This is like the A-Team MacGyver version of teaching all of a sudden, where how do we make education work with a screwdriver, some duct tape, a cotton ball, and a bird feather? I don't know. Like what are we doing to get that? And I just think that that's really daunting, but also kind of really exciting because it's making me reimagine what education actually looks like and taking my mandatory 50-minute period and paring it down to how do I communicate this in 5 or less minutes. So, and look, I think that there's a question. I don't know if this is from the guy that started X Prize or Ray Dalio or somebody asked this question one time where they said, what would it look like if it were easy? So if we had to teach algebra online, teach history online, teach English, teach imagery, teach symbolism, teach calculus, physics, what would it look like if it were easy? And I think oftentimes we overcomplicate things when, look, anything that is amazing in the world, there's a simple version of it, right? So like you could make a meal that has 90 steps and it's the art of French cooking, or you can make some really simple meals with very few ingredients that are off the chain. I make this sriracha spaghetti that is so incredibly good that it's like 3 things in it, right? It's like, but are the ingredients quality, right? So like
sriracha butter and garlic.
But don't tell everyone my secret sauce, babe, that I found on Pinterest.
Right? But that's the truth though. And same for like, I get what you're saying in lesson planning, because like when I look for recipes, it's like the ones that look really, really awesome. And I go to the directions and they're super intense and complicated. I go, nope, I'm fine and still delicious and wonderful. And I think you can do that in education. My question though for that guy, that poor guy, it's like,
do you want to squeeze in here?
No,
on
I
the
don't.
Real quick?
What do you do? What's he supposed to do when like admin is requesting all this other stuff and all the teachers are feeling the meltdown? Do you get all the teachers together and speak to the admin to like make the change? How do they make the change?
I think you get all the teachers together, do a Zoom call with your teachers, and don't just complain, because that is very natural. It seems like for teachers or for anyone really to just go down that rabbit hole, right? Of let's say all the things that suck. You can say all the things that suck. Great. What are we going to do about it?
But not even just that. It's like, and what is your biggest, actually go through and what do you want change on? Don't just complain about everything. What's the most important thing that you would like to get changed? What's going to be the most beneficial and impactful? So
you then make a list of like your top 3 that you go to admin with. Look, we need help with this, this, and this. And I feel like that happened last week where I was having conversations with teachers like as a group and with them individually. And then I just went to Cho and said like, and Witter's our curriculum guy, and Miss Cho is our grade level dean or our school dean, student dean. I just went to them and said, look, these are things that we're having a hard time with. Do you have any suggestions? And they just keep pivoting. Like Witter just keeps changing the way he's doing stuff. There we go. Because you got no shirt on. Okay. So they have they've just been like pivoting with us as they see the needs that we have. And then Witter's been doing just a good job of like, I don't always email him back because I don't email people back, but like he's been emailing me regularly to just see like how things are going and what's going on and what he can do to help. And so I think it's making your concerns heard and then having like some ideas of like, we were thinking this, could we do this? Like, what is the use of like some things just don't fit in. So yeah. Cool. What else? Mary Kate is asking, you've talked about church and faith as being important. Have you ever been able to stream that? I just finished watching a stream mass from church right before this started. Have I ever been able to stream that?
We went to home church this morning. Yes, our church is streaming all their services.
Yeah. So we're a part of a church in Jersey called Change Church. It's in Ewing, New Jersey, and they do like an online service every week, and it's been good. I mean, it's not the same, but then we've also like, I find that in times like this, I'm needing to tap into that world even more because I just need to keep my mind straight. I need to keep myself as filled up and as ready as I can be for anything. And when I think of it like this, someone once told me, talking about meditation, for instance, right? And this could be prayer, it could be your time with God, whatever it is, right? It could be karate, right? But the more we do something, the more of it sort of stays with us. So if you have a white washcloth and you dip it into wine, take that out and you wring it out, you could get it pretty clean again, right? Like you rinse on some water and it's not that stained. But over time, if you keep dipping it and rinsing out, dipping it and rinsing it out, over time, that white cloth will become more and more pink and then red and then dark red. And then you have a red cloth because you've dipped it in so many times. And I think that the things that it makes me think about, what am I dipping myself into, right? So that is going to stay with me. Is it TV? And like, there's certain TV shows, like I just can't go there. Like I can't watch because I don't want that rattling around in my head because I don't let things go very easily. We can watch like the most dark, weird, crazy stuff. And my wife can go right to bed, but I'm like, I can't watch Silence of the Lambs and then just go to bed because I'm just sitting here thinking about Wild Bill and all the crazy stuff that happened in that movie. So yeah, I just am like mindful of that stuff during this time, especially because I want to just be at my best. Alex Q is asking best tips for dealing with parents. I have a ton of parents that are hitting me up that like their kid handed something in 5 minutes ago and the grade's not in there. And where is it? And how come you didn't grade it yet? I've just been trying to communicate with parents and students as best I can. So I'll get like a kid. I was talking about this in a video the other day. What was his email address? He didn't even send it from his school email. It was Booby Doobie.
Like
It was like Booby Doobie 7617 emails me, yo, why you keep giving me Fs? I don't got the work. All right. So in all lowercase letters. So I say, I could get aggravated by this because I made a video explaining the directions. I made the directions on the Google Classroom that were numbered and bulleted. So like, do this, then do this, then do this. Then on the paper, I also had directions that were like pointing out, like, here's exactly what I want you to do. For you to just say, how do I do this? Like that was a response I got. How do I do this? That was from, who was it? Thug Runner sent me that email. And so I just respond back, hello, Thug Runner. Good afternoon, Booby Doobie. I'm so sorry that I didn't get back to you in a more timely fashion as I have this many students doing this many assignments and I'm still trying to figure out how to do this online learning thing. Please know that your child's education and their well-being are of the utmost concern to me. It is the most important thing, especially in this time where I know they could potentially feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty about what school looks like going forward, about their grade, about passing for the year. Please know those things are all important to me because they are important to them. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll be sure to get back to you within a reasonable amount of time, which is right now looking about 24 to 48 hours out after I get an email. And then just reminding parents of that it always goes really well. This is why I never have issues with parents. I've been yelled at. I've been walked out on by 2 parents in the last 15 years of teaching that have like walked out of my room freaking out, right? But every single time a parent comes in, no matter how mad they are, it's almost like a game to me where I'm like, oh, this is going to be so awesome. Because they come in and they're so pissed. I think
it's literally a game between all of your colleagues. Like they know that you're so good at it. So they like text you. And
they'll text me and be like, this mom is pissed. She's going to come at you with a knife. And I'm like, bring it. Because when I can tell a parent, I'm only doing it because I care about your student. I'm only doing it because I think that they can do well. What I'm doing is caring for your kid more than anything else in this moment. They are the only thing that matters to me, more than me being right, more than me being annoyed, more than anything about me. It's about your kid. And so parents can't argue with that because that is what they are there for too. It's not about me and my pride or my rules or anything.
If a teacher say that to me, I think I would fall over. I never had one teacher say that to me.
But it's that simple, and that's how I win with every single parent conversation.
That wall just comes, and I'm the mean mom that comes in and the pissed off mom. So like,
she really is.
I'm sorry, teachers.
No.
My babies are
You're
my
like
babies.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the mean mom. But if I had an educator say that to a teacher, say that to me, literally, it's instant. My wall would be down.
Yeah, because you're there fighting for your kid, and when you realize we're both fighting for the same thing,
I'm like, all right, we're down. Let's partner.
Yeah. So what does that look like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or how can I be of more service to you? Or what do you think your kid needs from me that I'm not actively giving them now? And I think it's about that level of vulnerability to say, look, I don't have all the answers, but I want to figure them out. And you know your kid better than I do.
Stephanie
so
Race
what can I do?
She said, and what's best for your child?
That's it.
Nobody ever asked me that with my kids. If someone asked me that and any of Brody's teachers, I'd have been, you're my new best friend. Like, I love you. Thank you for saying that. Like, but nobody ever did. And I felt like as much as I tried to share with teachers, like what's best, because my kid's particular, he's not the average. I felt like they never really listened.
Even bad parents know more than teachers do about their kids. Overall, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you've had them for 14 years, then they come to me. Yeah. And I might know more about kids by the time the school year is over, like as they share stuff with me and tell me stuff. But like that parent has a knowledge that I'll never have because they live with that kid. So that's just important to remember. Question, what are you doing for teaching from home? So for our kids right now, we're like, I am doing, so we're doing gardening, we're doing baking, we're doing, right? Is that what they're asking, or are they talking about?
I don't know if that's for our kids or.
So I'll do both. For my kids, it's a lot of like regular stuff, but how does that look as like education wise? Listening to podcasts, making comic books, creating this stuff. And I'm trying to see if she has any weird crap around here.
No, it's all in the kitchen.
Doing woodworking, doing gardening, like I said, like planting seeds and talking about pollen and talking about bees and talking about how things work in the garden and compost and mushroom compost in particular, and reading. My wife is a really, really good aloud reader with the kids, like does all the voices and is really great with it. So stuff like that, watching shows. We've been watching like anything that's on the Nat Geo side of the Disney Plus channel. So we've been watching all that stuff and like, but it takes forever to watch because we literally like pause it every single time. Like, you know, we watched a show about Alcatraz the other day and we were talking about social justice and it was like pausing it all the time to kind of talk about this stuff. So, and then for my students, it's using New York Times and Scholastic really, and then just breaking it down, giving very small chunk size things like here's a reading passage and here's 4 questions, but I'm doubling down on the quality of the responses. So you can't give me some half-ass response or say, I don't know, or have bad grammar, punctuation, or capitalization. I'm really hammering down hard on that stuff because I want the quality to be there, even though the quantity is not there.
And yes, we are very glad that this was the year that we decided to homeschool.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I think we're
good.
Yeah. Here's a great last question.
Okay. I'm hungry.
Hungry?
I've been hungry a lot. I've eaten so much. I'm telling you, I'm going to end up like Fat Thor by the end of this. I'm going to go back to school. I think I'm going to like get fit, but the kids are going to be like, Reynolds, you're like 900 pounds now. I've been in quarantine for 2 weeks. This is Jawsy. I've been in quarantine for 2 weeks now, and I'm still in contact with my pupils, but I feel relieved to be out for a while. Does this being a bit relieved make me a bad teacher? I kind of feel guilty. Not in the least. I feel awesome. Look, it is here's the thing too. Saying that I'm having a really great time overall, I went food shopping the other day. We went food shopping and I feel like we bickered for most of the time. We got on each other's nerves a lot because like your anxiety is on 10. So it's just like someone touches you and you're like, get out of here. Social distance, keep away from me. And it's like,
well, it's hard because there's not a whole lot of distance in an aisle, right? Even
and people are walking up to you and people are coughing and sneezing and you're like, dude, what are you doing? You're going to kill us all. So I think that although this is a really difficult time for some people, right? Like if you're in the restaurant industry, if you are a construction worker, if you have but like people aren't making money. They don't have money for rent. They don't have money for food. I just don't think that I can be sensitive to that. I absolutely am. And I feel for people. I know my brother is out of work because he does sound for bands and stuff like that. And no one's on tour right now. It doesn't mean we have to feel bad about doing okay. I am really enjoying waking up whenever I want. I'm really enjoying like the rest of the day today. I'm going to go spend time in my wood shop and build things. And some of them are for my class and some of them are for my home and some of them are weird stuff I'm making with the kids. I'm enjoying watching a movie every day at lunch with my kids or part of a movie and my daughter baking and eating a bunch of junk. And last night for dinner, I had cookie dough and beer. That's what I had for dinner last night. And it was friggin' awesome. And
just to let everybody know, I was willing to make dinner. I had salmon.
I wasn't hungry.
Nobody wanted dinner.
I didn't.
So everyone ate junk.
So around 9:30, I just had I had a bunch of cookie dough on a spoon and drank beer. So in that, I don't think that because it's hard for everyone or for a lot of people that we can't take joy in the fact that we are off. Use the time. I'm trying to make lemonade out of this. I'm trying to be better when I get out of this. My whole mindset every day is how do I come out of quarantine better, stronger, smarter, more of what I want to be than I was going into it. And so if I look at it as a gift where I get time off, I get to move at my own pace, then that's how I'm choosing to look at it. And I think that is completely fine. You will find that in your school, there are times when you're teaching with people that hate the school year, that the kids are awful for them. Does that mean you don't shout a kid out? So like if a kid's great for you and they're not good for other people, does that mean you don't say anything about it? Does that mean you don't applaud when someone does something good or say how the principal handled something really well? Even though everyone hates the principal, it's like, no, you act out of that appreciation all the time. And I just think that is important. What did Darius say last night? He said about mindset, that your life doesn't change when you change your life. Your life changes when you change your mind.
Yes.
And it's how are you choosing to look at it? So again, your life doesn't change when you change your life. Your life changes when you change your mind, when you change the way you're looking at the situation.
And it all starts with our mind.
And I am, I just feel blessed in this moment to have this time off with my family, with my kids, with a little bit of social distancing. It just makes me feel like, absence makes the heart grow fonder, that when I see those people again and I get to hug them and see them and care about them, it's like, yeah, I'm going Nicolas Cage route in Con Air. That's what I'm doing. With Nicolas Cage in Con Air, remember we went to jail with his mullet and then he learned how to do all that crazy stuff in jail. That's how I'm just choosing to look at it instead of other jail movies where people don't grow as much.
Yeah, I hear you.
I can't think of any now.
You just waste your time. So it's like everybody wants time. Time is the commodity for everything.
Yeah.
But I think, we're
just getting stuff done.
For me, this last week was more of a waste time for me. I'm looking forward to this next week being back more on a getting up earlier schedule and using my time wisely to do things instead of just letting the day go by and go, oh crap, it's really, really late.
Well, that gets boring too.
Yeah.
Right? So
like I'm done with, I did that for a while. I'm good with that. And now I want to do stuff.
It feels good to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And that means you got to change your pants. All right. That's what that really means, is that you have to change your pants. Whimsical teacher said, at this stage of her life, she goes, I have my morning pajamas and my nighttime pajamas. And so, the sun's going down. You got to change into your nighttime pajamas. So yeah. Cool. We good?
Yeah. Yeah, there's still other questions.
Cool. All right. We're going to go because I'm starving and I want to go eat something. Look, gang, we're going to be on Instagram every single day at 12 o'clock Eastern time. And so tomorrow I'm on with my friend Jen Jones. And then this week there is Allison Apsey is going to be on with me. Teach, Inspire, Hustle. Teach, Hustle, Inspire is on. Jonathan Alshemeyer wrote Next Level Teaching, and some mystery person that I can't remember.
Oh, Eric from.
Is it Dustin? I think Dustin's coming on.
Yeah.
He's a big deal. Like, he's awesome teacher.
Mm-hmm. Some elementary school.
And then if there's somebody that you think I should have on or should go live with on Instagram, please let me know. And then tomorrow, I'll put this link out somewhere. I'm going to do a Zoom call with my friend Adele, who teaches in Israel, and we're going to talk about some of this stuff too, and like how they're kind of figuring out and framing some of the stuff.
Look for that on Facebook.
So yeah, I'll post it on Facebook. I'll post it in the Facebook group. So that's it, gang. I hope you have a great week, and thanks for being awesome.
Stay safe.
Peace.
Stay healthy.
Stay safe and healthy. Healthy and safe. That's how you get it. Oh no, that's stupid.